Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Yashodanand Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Haribol. Jai Vishnupad Paramam Japarivraj Kacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupad Paramam Japarivraj Kacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप श्री मायपुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माँ यमुना माई की जय वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय द मोस्ट मर्सिबल लॉर्डशिप श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री श्री गौनिताय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय समवेत गौर भक्त बंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamaśloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28. Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life. Text number 13. Yavano paruddhayatano Yavano paruddhayatano Grastayam kalakanyaya Grastayam kalakanyaya Puryam prajvara samsrishtaha Puryam prajvara samsrishtaha Purapalo tapyata Purapalo anvatapyata Yavano paruddhayatano Grastayam kalakanyaya Puryam prajvara samsrishtaha Purapalo tapyata Yavano paruddhayatano Grastayam kalakanyaya Puryam prajvara samsrishtaha Purapalonvatapyata. यवनोपरुद्धायतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पुर्यां प्रज्वार संसृष्टः पुरप्पालोऽन्वतप्यत यवनोपरुद्धायतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पुर्यां प्रज्वार संसृष्टः पुरप्पालोऽन्वतप्यत यवनोपरुद्धायतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पुर्यां प्रज्वार संसृष्टः पुरप्पालोऽन्वतप्यत. Any Matajis? यवनोपरुद्धायतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पुर्यां प्रज्वार संसृष्टः पुरप्पालोऽन्वतप्यत यवनोपरुद्धायतनो ग्रस्तायां कालकन्यया पुर्यां प्रज्वार संसृष्टः पुरप्पालोऽन्वतप्यत. जय श्री श्री गौनिता श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र महारानी की जय. Yavana, by the Yavanas, Uparuddha, attacked. Ayatanaha, his abode. Grastayam, when seized. Kalakanyaya, by the daughter of time. Puryam, the city. Prajvara, Prajvara Samsrishtaha, being approached by Prajvara. Purappalaha, the city superintendent. Anvatapyata, became also very much aggrieved. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the city superintendent of police, the serpent, saw that the citizens were being attacked by Kalakanya, and he became very aggrieved to see his own residence set ablaze after being attacked by the Yavanas. Please repeat. The city's superintendent of police, the serpent, saw that the citizens were being attacked by Kalakanya, and he became very aggrieved to see his own residence set ablaze after being attacked by the Yavanas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The living entity is covered by two different types of bodies, the gross body and the subtle body. At death, we can see that the gross body is finished, but actually the living entity is carried by the subtle body to another gross body. The so-called scientists of the modern age cannot see how the subtle body is working in carrying the soul from one body to another. The subtle body has been figuratively described as a serpent or the city's police superintendent. When there is fire everywhere, the police superintendent cannot escape either. When there is security and an absence of fire in the city, the police superintendent can impose his authority upon the citizens. But when there is an all out attack on the city, he is rendered useless. As the life air was ready to leave the gross body, the subtle body also began to experience pain. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaite grim. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. So the allegorical presentation of how one becomes very much uh, captivated by the old days, and as a result of that, how one suffers severely is explained in this verse. Uh, so the allegory is how our, our body is attacked by various. Here it is said yavanas. Yavanas means the people who attack the body. Who attack the body? The old age, disease, all these things attack the body. So when we are attacked by the body, what happens? The first thing that happens is our senses become very weak. And when they become very weak, the connection between the subtle body and the gross senses become loose. Uh, like for example, if you are very strong, young, everything in your body is in control. You're able to see properly, you're able to hear properly, chew. Everything happens properly. Everything happens as you desire. But when there is old age, these things won't happen as you desire. In the young age, you can eat about anything and digest anything. But as you become old, we can't take what we were taking in the young age because it doesn't get digested. There'll be a lot of problem in the body because so many things happen in the body which we don't even know. Why? Because the subtle body is not able to control the gross body because the gross body is becoming useless, or gross body is becoming weak. Gross body means what? Gross senses. The karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, all these things, especially the karmendriyas, they will not function properly. Even though you may want to do, you cannot do. Suppose if I have a pain in the leg, I may want to run, but I cannot run because there is a pain. So, helplessly, the subtle body is seeing all this changes that are happening, and finally, the suffering is not just only to the gross body, but the suffering also comes to the subtle body. So, Prabhupada is giving a very, very beautiful example in describing this whole thing. In a city, the police superintendent, he has a lot of power. When? As long as everyone is following the rules, he has a lot of assistants, and there is no emergency in the city. The moment emergency is declared in the city, or the moment there is fire everywhere, then even the superintendent cannot do. because all the people are going hither and thither and hither and thither. Even the policemen are going here and there because everyone wants to save their own life. So, if the superintendent calls for a march past, nobody will attend. Everybody is going here and there. So, that is what happens in the old days, is what Prabhupada is saying. Especially when the soul is about to leave the gross body, the soul is going along with the subtle body, leaving the gross body, and the gross body becomes almost dead. The moment soul leaves the body is dead. So that is what happens to this body in the old days. Nothing is in control. No connection between hardware and software, isn't it? If your hardware is not functioning, whatever program you do, it will not have any effect. Screen is not functioning. What will you do? No matter what commands you give, nothing is going to come there. Or the mouse is not functioning, or the keyboard is not functioning. What will you do? Hard disk itself is not there. So similarly, the subtle body, gross body connection is very beautifully explained, and how the soul is surrounded by the subtle body, and then it goes to the next body. That is what is described. So as Srila Prabhupada is saying, that the modern scientists or modern medical technology cannot understand all of this. For them, the moment the prana leaves, everything is over. They think that the person is gone. They don't know where the person is gone, who is carrying that person. None of those things are not known to the modern science. They think that once the body is over, everything is over. So they don't follow these samskaras, which are to be, final rites and all those things. They don't follow much. Nowadays, everybody is neglecting those things. They don't know the gross body is there. As long as the gross body is there, the subtle body is around only. The soul is there. The soul wants to see who is coming and crying, who is, garlanding him. All these things the soul is seeing. The real well-wishers, who are the real well-wishers, who are the actors, everything will be known by the person who is watching the whole thing. We cannot see the person, but the person is seeing all of us, because the gross body is not burnt, or the gross body is not completely, it is not destroyed. As long as you don't destroy the gross body, the subtle body will be going around. That is a general case. Extraordinary cases where people are not attached to the bodies, they don't even bother. They directly go to the next body. They are not attached. So that is why sannyasis, they are not burnt. Their bodies are not burnt. Sannyasis' bodies are preserved with salt. A samadhi is built on sannyasis' body, because in the Vedic tradition, it is said that the sannyasi does not come back to the body to claim the body, but that body is a spiritual body by his followers. It's a worshipable body, because through that body he has rendered so much service. So that is why it is considered to be very sacred. So that is why a small uh, dome is built on that, a mandir is built on that. We have Srila Prabhupada Samadhi Mandir in Vrindavan. Hundreds and thousands of people feel the vibration of Srila Prabhupada there, not because Prabhupada has come there, but Prabhupada's transcendental body was there, buried there. And we feel presence of Srila Prabhupada by his teachings, by his powerful um, followers, etc., etc. The point Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here is that one should understand how the subtle body is encircled, the soul is encircled by this subtle body, and then go to the next and next and next. One has to get another gross body. Till that time, that is considered to be great suffering. You can't go back to the old body because that old body already lost control. Most of the control is lost. So when you left, everything is lost. All control is lost on the old body. And the new body you cannot enter for whatever reason. One of the most important reason is that you are attached to the old body. So you are not, even though there is another body which is ready for you. So the subtle body has to go and assume that body, enter into that body. And that you are not doing because you are attached to this body. So that is why a Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, there are many rituals that are to be performed to a dead person. They say, even though you might have not taken care of the person while the person was living, at least take care of the person's final right so that the person will continue his journey. That's what they say. So, no matter you may be the poorest of the poor, but the final rites have to be performed properly so that the journey continues. Those who do not have this understanding that we are all spirit souls, they just dump all the bodies and then burn them just like, sticks, just like logs. Because for them, there is no concept of a subtle body, there is no concept of soul. But if you understand that, we are not this body, we are soul, the soul, as soon as the soul left, you wanted to make that soul continue his journey properly. And for continuing the journey properly, proper samskaras have to be performed. So it is said that the soul has attachment to the bones. Even though you burn the body, still what is there? Bones are there. So he has a hope against hope to come back. So that is why the bones have to be completely, immersed. The ashes with the bones have to be immersed in the holy rivers. Sometimes some people immerse ashes in various holy rivers, not in one place. And when you immerse the ashes in the holy river, what happens? The bones are going hither and thither, they are just flooded to various other places. So there is no scope for joining everything back and put another body. That body you must be finished. You must completely wash off this body. The concept of going back must be washed off. And sometimes people are very sinful. So it is said that when people have committed many sins, they immediately don't get gross body. They will have to wait. And how long they have to wait? It also depends how their successive people, whoever is their son or grandson, whoever it is, what kind of activities they perform, it also depends on how long they have to stay. Suppose someone has done many sinful activities, but their children have properly performed the karma kanda. It is said for the soul to get into next better destination, it takes almost 1 year. So that is why what they do after 10 days or 12 days, depending on different various traditions. So they do a karma kanda, immersion of the ashes, and then they observe monthly pujas. So it is said the soul goes to certain distance and then go to the certain distance every month or every puja that is done. Because what is that puja? The puja is about whatever this person has done, sinful activities, nullify the sinful activities by the different yajnas and danas that you do on behalf of that particular person. You give Godan, you give Brahman Dan, and you worship Lord Vishnu. All these credits you are performing, their descendants are performing on behalf of the departed soul. So the piety will go to that particular person. And where is that person? That person is now stuck in the subtle body. So as these pious credits go to that person, he goes from the netherly regions or hellish regions and comes to a better state, till he gets another body. And this whole process, they say it takes about an year. So that is why you also observe anniversary for that particular person. And in in Vaishnava traditions, not just one year that you observe. Every year you have to follow this process, so that no stone unturned for the departed soul to go back home, back to Godhead. That is the whole idea. So people who do not have any of this, know any of these signs, they just thrash it as if it is something useless. You're all old-fashioned fellows. You're not practical people. You are wasting a lot of money on this, doing karma kanda, all of this. What is the use of all this? You don't know what is the use of all this. When you die, then you will know. Then you will suffer. Oh, I didn't have proper descendants. I'm stuck here. Not only I'm stuck here, I've raised such descendants, huh, who increase my sin by offering non-vegetarian food and one beer bottle. Hmm? That fellow may be going to heaven, but because of having such a foolish descendant like you, he'll be pulled back. Isn't it? It's such a famous thing in Telangana. Only without non-vegetarian food and without this, the final rites will not be observed. So that means they make sure that anywhere that fellow is there, he will be brought back to the hellish regions. Isn't it? See, such gross foolishness is there because we don't read from scriptures, we don't hear from authorized sources of what is the transmigration of a soul from one body to another body. What is the whole process that happens? So this whole Bhagavatam section describes that whole process. Right from about to leave the body to enter into another body, what all happens? Yamakinkaras come or Vishnudutas come, depending on what kind of activities you have done. So uh, for that Ajamila, both have come. The Yamakinkaras have come, and also Vishnudutas, Narayana Dutas also have come. And there was a big debate between both of them. So finally, because he chanted Lord Krishna's name, Lord Narayana's name at the end in a very piteous condition, not he did not chant purely, but at the same time he did not chant offensively also. Out of desperation he chanted Narayana, 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 like that he chanted. Uh, he did not even chant thinking of Lord Narayana. He only chanted his son's name because he kept his son name as Narayana. And just by that act, inadvertent chanting, it is called not consciously chanting, inadvertently chanting Lord Narayana's name, Narayana Dutas have come, Vishnu Dutas have come. Hare Krishna. So Vishnu Dutas have come, and they wanted to claim this person because he chanted this name, Lord Narayana's name. But then what happened? Already the Yamadutas were present. So the Yamadutas were claiming the body. This fellow from so many years, this fellow has committed so many sinful acts. He has plundered people, he has stabbed people, he has done all kinds of sinful activities. So this fellow has to come with us. So then in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a description how the subtle body is dragged from the gross body and taken through. If he is a sinful person, the Yamakinkaras takes the subtle body with the soul through very, very hot furnaces. And if he does not move, then they have hunters to punish him. And he experiences great suffering. The soul experiences great suffering. The soul means the subtle body is there, and the soul experiences great suffering. So in this way, he has to travel so many yojanas. So many yojanas means many hundreds and thousands of kilometers he has to travel. What are those hundreds and thousands of kilometers? Don't try to calculate with the modern, on 10 centimeters, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, and like that you don't count, because it's all in the subtle level. Uh, what is calculated here in the earth planet is different from what is calculated in the netherly region. So then he is brought to Yamaras. The Yamaras asks his assistant called Chitragupta. Chitragupta has a full, big hard disk which nobody can manufacture. That much hard disk he has. Everybody's data is fully noted down there. How many sins he has committed, how many pious activities he has committed, everything is there with him. So according to that account of what all he has committed, finally Yamaras gives him, okay, for so many years he has to be punished in this way. So like that, then that soul is punished with the subtle body. Suppose if the soul has done bad activities, such as if he has eaten non-vegetarian food, then burning coal will be put in his mouth. Or if he has impiously indulged in sex life with a woman, then hot woman's form, which is burning hot, he is asked to go and embrace that form of the woman as a reaction to what he has done before. So all these things, I am not saying all these things. In the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a full description of all these things are there. That how the subtle body, all of this is experienced by, because there is no gross body to suffer. But who is there? Subtle body is there. So here also the description, you see what he's saying. The city's superintendent of police, the serpent. Who is that superintendent? The subtle body is that superintendent. So he's seeing that everything there is destruction. So that he's feeling, he saw the citizens are being attacked by Kalakanya, and he became very aggrieved. He became very morose. He became aggrieved. So same way, till you get a gross body, all these experiences have to be experienced by the subtle body. Till you get another body. So that is why Shastra says, don't commit sinful activities. Don't commit suicide. Because suicide is considered to be the ultimate sinful activity. Any sinful activity you may do, there is a possibility of at least have some body. Some lower body you may get. Dog's body, cat body, or even the body of a tree you may get. But if you don't get any body, because if somebody has committed a suicide, till that time you finish your time. Like for example, our body is designed, let us say that we are supposed to live till 80 years, example. But at the age of 30 only you got frustrated. So then what happens? Till you come to the age of 80, that means according to earthly calculation, another 50 years you will not have body. When you don't have body, what will you do? You're going to different places to search of happiness and enjoyment. And you don't get it. It is like, you are fond of sweets, but you have a very high blood sugar. And the doctor told you that if you eat that if you eat that sweet, you will die. And the big plate of sweets is brought in front of him and everybody is eating. How do you feel like? You feel most frustrated because you cannot eat. If you eat, you die. And you are not able to eat, and then also you're dying. Both are death only. Similarly, the gross body, when it is gone, the subtle body is wanting to fulfill many desires. But to fulfill those desires, it doesn't have any gross body. So this is the greatest suffering. So it is the duty of the dependents or descendants to relieve that person from such suffering. That is why all the karma kanda activities are performed, so that he doesn't stay long in that subtle body. He quickly gets another gross body. Some peace is there if you get a gross body. So this is not known to modern people. We are thinking, many of the people who commit suicide, what they think? From today, all my suffering is gone. What they don't know is that from today, your suffering million times increases. That you don't know. You may think that, all the suffering is bodily. Actual suffering is mental suffering. Subtle body suffers more than the gross body. So, never commit suicide is what Shastra says. Atmahatya mahapatakaha. Because there is always solution. As long as you have body, you have assistance to do some activity in pleasing to please Krishna. What can you do? If you don't have a gross body, what will you do to please Krishna? You don't have anything to please Krishna. So you are now dependent on others. When you have gross body, at least you can do yourself some service to Krishna. But if you have a subtle body, you are rendered useless now. You have to necessarily depend on others to get some good karmic reactions to you so that you get a gross body. So one must understand that this committing suicide, leaving one's body forcibly, is the greatest crime that they can commit to themselves. Anyway, others will cry. Those who are near and dear to you, they will cry. But more than they cry, and they will, after some time, they will forget. But you will not get a body. So no matter how difficult life is, one should never resort to committing suicide, because unimaginable suffering will fall on you if you commit suicide. Unimaginable suffering. You are only thinking a little bit suffering to be very big suffering, but what you cannot imagine, that much suffering will come when you leave the body. So that is why uh, all efforts are made to make sure either this soul goes back to Krishna or Vaikunta or gets another body, so that you don't suffer, because in between state is great suffering state, and that is what is described here. That is why it is said, uh, when someone is dying, they experience the greatest suffering when someone is dying, because there is that little time is there when you are about to leave the body. You have so much attachment to the body, you don't have control over the body, you are forcefully pushed out of the body, and it is a great suffering. So that is the old age brings great suffering, gradual suffering to greatest suffering. So even great souls are fearful of this old age. Kulashekar Alvar, he is a very great devotee of Krishna, but he is praying, my dear Krishna, I am able to remember now. I am able to remember you now. But when I become old, my whole body will be filled with kapha, and I won't be able to even utter a word. And so much suffering that I will go through that I cannot even think of you, my dear Krishna. So please take me now only. He is such a great devotee, we are not even devotees. But he is afraid of old age. We are thinking, doctor will save me. Recently, somebody told me that a man has converted his bedroom into ICU. Uh, he has converted his bedroom into ICU so that any emergency, all the pipes are put by the doctor, and then you can see all the readings, and then that means there is so much faith in medical science, so much faith in the readings. Now all our health is checked by meters only, na? The number bolo kitna hai? What is your HbA1c? What is your sugar level? What is your BP level? What is your saturation? Everything numbers only. Ultimately our body has become numbers now. Just see. So you already killed the body by measuring it with numbers. You're not able to see that there is a soul there is a subtle body and it goes through certain emotions. Those things could not be recognized. Everything is measured with numbers. We are so much dependent on these numbers. The sugar disease was not existing before. It has recently has come, is it? Huh? The doctors scare you so much with sugar disease. Hey, immediate tablet ले लो, नहीं तो मर जाएगा. पहले लोग नहीं थे क्या? There was no disease, sugar disease. It was not recognized earlier. People were living, and whenever they had to leave, they will leave. BP was not there, it was there. But the more you scare the people, the more you can make money. One time he has to tell you that your sugar levels are high. For the rest of the life, you have to go on eating the sugar tablet. Even if 1 paisa per tablet, just imagine how much money they will make. 1 paisa per tablet. And they're minting money like anything. So it's all depending on, these numbers, how they scare us. Whether it is sugar or BP or this or that, whatever it is, we have a certain time that we will live. This is a fact. You cannot extend even one breath according to scriptures. Nobody in this world can increase one moment of your life in this particular body. That one must understand. That doesn't mean that I'm not suggesting that you should not go to the doctor or this or that. You may go to the doctor to get relieved from the pain, but you should not think that doctor is going to save you. He is going to extend your life, or the modern facilities are going to extend our life or something like that. We should never think like that. At least if you have scriptural understanding, faith in the scripture, you'll know Krishna will allow me as long as I am allowed to be in this body, particular body. They say, the scriptures say the number of breaths you take are fixed. You cannot increase or decrease the number of breaths in that particular body unless you commit suicide. That is only exception. Otherwise, the number of breaths are fixed. So nobody can reduce your lifetime or increase your lifetime in this particular body. So why do you take medicine then? You don't have to take medicine, but if you have done something with your body, to adjust, to bring that equivalence, equibalance, you may have to take medicine. There's one famous Apple founder. You know what is his name? Steve Jobs. This man, he wrote one statement. If you don't eat your food like medicine, then you will have to eat medicine like food. This is what he wrote. Understand what it is? It's a very intelligent, way of presenting things. If you don't eat food like medicine, nobody eats very nice medicine, nice 2-3 more morsels of, tablets. Nobody eats like that, isn't it? Very sparingly you take medicine. Oh, 1 tablet, I have to take 1 tablet, 2 tablets, very sparingly. If you don't do like that, then you will have to eat medicine like food. That's what he said. So, why do you go to the doctor? To make some balance for whatever things that you have done before. Just to balance them, you go to the doctor. Not thinking that your doctor is going to extend your lifetime, because that is fixed. So, when you understand all these things, that there is a gross body, there is a subtle body, and the soul, and there are life airs, all this technology, this is actual technology. Not the modern medical technology. This is the actual technology. If you understand this technology properly, then we live a life in a different way than the way we are living right now. We will not eat abhaksha bhakshanam. It is called abhaksha bhakshanam, means those things which are not to be eaten, we should never eat. And what is one of the things which is not to be eaten is killing another animal's flesh. That is called abhaksha bhakshanam. One should never eat. Then what one should eat? Eat only those things which are offered to Krishna and eat it as prasadam, mercy of Krishna. This is one of the most important thing in life. Only when you follow this, other things at least you will be able to relate to. Other spiritual things you will be able to relate to. Otherwise, you cannot relate to the spiritual things also. That is the first thing that we suggest, is that you bring good habits into your eating, good eating habits. Leave non-vegetarian food and eat prasadam. Even if you don't get prasadam, come to the temple regularly, eat it in front of a small photo of Krishna with all your devotion, offer it to Krishna. My dear Krishna, this is all that I have. Kindly accept this and then give me as prasadam. Then our consciousness will be, it will be purified by eating that prasadam. Our bodily limbs are also purified if you have that faith. Then what things will be revealed? Higher things will be revealed. Those days it is said the great sages, they would only sustain on cow milk. That's all. Because what cow milk does is that it will able to enable you to understand the spiritual subject matters. A finer brain tissues will be formed by which you will be able to understand what is the goal of life, what should be done, what should not be done. All these things will be known. Now people have become so dumb that even after 100 times repeating, they won't get it. They won't get it. Why they won't get it? Because of their habits. What will you know? You bring a dog and say, chant Hare Krishna. What will he say? Bhav, 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 bhav. That's what he says, right? Because dog doesn't have the capacity to comprehend what this person is saying. So slowly man is degrading to a level of dog or a cat or animal level because his eating habits are very bad. So that is why the Shastra says, follow these four things: no meat eating, no intoxication, don't drink alcohol or smoke or tobacco, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. Gambling means you have invested, you don't know whether that will be there or not. What will be the, just like, what you say, that sensex goes like this, no? Ooh, like that, our heartbeat also goes when you invested in the stocks. As it goes, your heartbeat goes. As it goes low, your heartbeat goes low. What you can think of Krishna when your everyday heartbeat goes like this? Now you can invest in other stocks also, which are functioning in the night time, so that not only during the daytime marketing, nighttime marketing also is there, right? In US stocks also you can, so that 24 hours your heartbeat will go up down like this. And now that, earlier stock market investing means what? You have to go to a stock broker, and then now everything has come to mobile. Everything has come to mobile, so that your mobile also will see your heartbeat, both ways. This is what is happening. So no gambling and no illicit sex, no improperly dealing with women for bad purposes, exploitative purposes. So these things, if we follow, then there is a possibility to understand these things. Forget about dwelling deep. So that is why Prabhupada said, it doesn't matter who you are, you try to follow these four regulative principles, then I will teach you Krishna consciousness. That's what Prabhupada said. So this we must understand. Suppose if we give up hope to follow four regulative principles, give up hope to understand anything spiritual. Guaranteed. And the first thing is to not to eat meat. That's the first thing. Or whichever is easy for you. And I can tell you, the toughest thing is not to have illicit connection with women. Why? Because in every lifetime we have this tendency to, you know, to have association with the opposite sex. In some lives you may not eat meat. You might have born in Brahmin family by habit. You might have not eaten meat. In some families, they don't touch anything, cigarette or this or that. So these three things are easy. Gambling also a little difficult because we gamble with our life only. Hmm? Gambling is almost gambling or speculation, both are same. But these two things are very, very easy. Giving up meat eating and giving up intoxication. But today, our small children also doing this. 8th class, 9th class fellows are smoking cigarette. You know that in the schools. And there are so much of drug peddling is going on. Children are abused by taking drugs. There's a drug mafia going on. What can they understand about spiritual life? Instead of actually teaching them these beautiful values of spiritual life from the very young age of 5 years, we are injecting this kind of poison in them. What civilization can be created from such education and such children? Think about it. So these are all discussed very wonderfully in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And anyone who comes and hears Bhagavatam and molds one's life according to Bhagavatam principles, their life is successful. Otherwise, we'll have to suffer, suffer, suffer. One type of suffering to another, another to the another type of suffering. That's all. So I'd like to stop here. Are there any questions anybody has? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is that you have explained that about hellish planets, and we hear that in time in the higher planetary system is different from the earthly planetary system. Is the time in the hellish planet is also different from the earthly planetary system?
Is the time?
In the hellish planets is also different from the earthly planetary
Oh,
system, or
yes.
means it's lower or higher than
Lower.
lower?
Like, for example, it is said, our 6 months, our 6 months means the earthly being 6 months is equal to one day of the demigods. You understand? Similarly, the 6 months of the lower, 6 months or more of the lower living entities who are living in the lower regions, that may be one of our day. One day, our one day is equal to their 6 months. So that you don't have to suffer
Very long.
so many millions of years. But suffering is not dependent on the number of years, it is dependent on your consciousness. You
Another,
understand?
another question, Prabhuji, you explained about suicide. Means one who does suicide, he is the ultimate sin, and he used to suffer here only in that gross body. But sometimes we hear the term akala mrityu, means someone who have died before their time comes. So they are also forced to live in this world in the subtle body, or they get the gross body.
Mostly Akala Mrityu is suicide. Even accident is not considered Akala Mrityu because accident is yet, consciously you want to exit the body even though you have opportunity to live. That is not called Akala Mrityu. Consciously. You know you can live, but you don't want to live, you want to exit. Suppose you ram your vehicle into another big lorry or truck knowingly. Externally, it may appear to be an accident, but actually, you know what you did. You understand?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for this wonderful class. I learnt a lot. I had a doubt regarding subtle body and soul, which got clear today. I had another doubt, which says from this session is like we know that super soul is within us, and
Yes.
super soul helps us every decision in our life. Then what is the role of super soul after death?
What is the role of super soul after death?
Yeah.
Super soul is actually carrying the soul, and soul and super soul are encircled by the subtle body. So it is safely the super soul is taking the soul to another body. Another body. So long you live in this world, material world, super soul very carefully accompanies the soul. Once you leave this material world and go to the spiritual world, then super soul will not be there with the soul, because the soul has taken shelter of Bhagavan, Krishna. So the super soul comes into picture only in this material world. And what is the role of a super soul? Matta smrutir jnanam apohanam cha. To give the soul necessary remembrance, necessary forgetfulness, necessary knowledge. Who is giving?
Super soul.
Super soul is giving. When the child is born, immediately the child sucks the breast of the mother. Nobody has trained the child. Who gave that? Who gave that knowledge? How to take food? The super soul gave that knowledge. Sometimes you see children, they are very afraid when some dangerous things come in front of them. They were not taught, but there is an experience which is given by the super soul. Better don't go there, like that. So super soul is very active. We don't see super soul's activeness.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In some religion, they dig the body in soil after death.
In some religions, they,
Dig the body in soil after death.
yes.
So the soul is the soul is attached to that body. How many years?
So that is why they make prayers.
Okay.
They make prayers when they put the body in the grave. They make prayers. And the prayer is, don't come back, go to eternal heaven.
Okay, Prabhuji.
You understand?
Yeah.
Either go to eternal heaven or go to eternal hell. That is, according to Christianity, there are only two destinations: eternal heaven or eternal hell. So the prayers they make so that they don't go to eternal hell, they go to eternal heaven.
Understood.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have two questions.
Okay.
One is, somebody when one commits suicide, many people they ask regarding this. So there is confusion. How do you understand it? Because it is already in his destiny, or
Suicide is not in our destiny.
it is karmic reactions.
Suicide is not karmic reaction. Suicide is one's own madness. Poya kalam. In Telugu they call. Suicide is one's own embraced nonsense. It is not destiny. Nobody is destined to commit suicide, Prabhu. People may be destined to suffer, but people are not destined to commit suicide. It is a conscious act that you are doing to escape suffering, not knowing what suffering is, about to come. There is absolutely no doubt in this. You are misusing your free will to commit suicide. That's all it is. Oh, he has forced me to commit suicide. After committing suicide, they'll write, because of this person I committed suicide. Because of that, this is all nonsense. Actually, because of your own nonsense, you have committed suicide. Maybe there are circumstances, yes. But choice is been, taken by you. So nobody can be blamed for suicide. Although there may be criminal laws that may be there prevailing, where somebody is coerced to commit suicide, so they will be charged. But that is not actually true. This fellow has to be charged. So Yamaraj is already charging this fellow, this soul. All right?
And next one is, you have you have very nicely described regarding this how when one leave his body, how his descendants observe the karma kanda ceremonies, so that departed soul will get higher destinations. So, my question is that, in our Krishna consciousness movement, but we don't see this in other sampradayas. It is elaborately, people they observe this. Uh, because Srila Prabhupada, he does not says about this.
Prabhupada did not say that, you don't observe final rites for a departed soul. Prabhupada said, you don't have to do all this karma kanda of, doing this abhisheka, doing this puja, doing that and all that. Instead of all of that, you simply invite Vaishnavas, let them do Sankirtana, and you feed them nicely Vishnu Prasadam. This is the best, karma kanda, the best of observing the final rites. The whole aspect of doing it is not abolished by Prabhupada. How you do it is different. In our Krishna conscious culture, we don't, go to so many places and do this dana, that dana, and one may not be able to do it. When my father and mother, they left the body, the pujaris, those who do karma kanda, they said, you have to spend, for each, you have to spend 2 lakh rupees. Then I said, if I don't have 2 lakhs, my father cannot go. I said. Then, he understood. Because they can increase depending on your financial status. Your father cannot go unless you give 5 lakhs also, or 10 million also. So this is all, Brahmanas are manipulating, so-called Brahmanas are manipulating. So that is why Prabhupada said, don't bother, you simply chant Hare Krishna and that person will go back to Godhead. Or at least he's helped to go back to Godhead, he or she. All right? Yes. That Mataji, give it back. Last question for today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Krishna.
Thank you very much for the nice class, Prabhu. Prabhu, sometimes unable to bear the suffering of the body, mercy killing or what they call euthanasia
Mercy killing.
is done. So in that case, will the soul or the doctor who is performing that, will they get the sin?
Definitely. Killing is sin. So whether you ask for it or don't ask for it, if one gives, one kills the other person, it is hatya. So the doctor says that, this person will have to suffer so much, so let me give an injection so that this person dies, peacefully dies. He will not peacefully die. It is a hatya is committed. Hatya means forcibly exiting a soul from a particular body is called hatya. So one has to take that karmic reaction of killing that person. So later this person will be killed like that. Death has to happen naturally, even though it may be very difficult for that person to endure. God is not so merciless. We don't know what that person has done to somebody else because of which that person is enduring this much pain. It is like this, somebody has committed, somebody has murdered someone. The judge has asked him, hang this fellow till death. So then you go, oh, don't do this. Mercy killing, don't do this. Then you are doing injustice to someone else. So this whole chain is not known to people like us. Only God knows. Karmana daiva netrena. So we should not accelerate or decelerate the process of death. You can try to decelerate, but you cannot actually decelerate. The whole medicine and then all this is trying to decelerate the process of death, but actually it cannot be done. It is supposed to be making a balance. Medicine is supposed to give us a balance so that we can continue our devotional service. So this mercy killing is actually, it is a hatya. And one will get this, this one. Whether doctor does it, somebody else does it. Doesn't matter.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.